The Canucks just robbed the NHL with a sneaky signing fans were begging for, and we have the truth behind the move as well as looking at where he fits best on this team. We're going to break down all that in this episode of Canucks Digest, but first, if you want to help us reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers before the start of the regular season, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you can stay up to date on all things Canucks. And with that, let's hop straight into it, which is the Canucks sneaky signing. So yesterday it was announced that the Canucks agreed to terms on a 1-year, 2-way contract of about $775,000 with Vitaly Kravtsov from the Russian KHL team, who they previously did have the rights to. And Patrik Allvin spoke on the signing, saying that Vitaly had a strong season in the KHL and was an impact player for his team. In his 2 seasons in Russia, he has worked hard on his game, and we look forward to seeing where Vitaly is at when he comes to training camp in Penticton. So this was something that a lot of fans were wanting. They were begging for. If you guys follow Nux Memes on Instagram, he had been begging for this for literally months. I remember seeing that on there, and then the rumblings started kind of happening of him maybe coming back to the NHL, staying in the KHL. We didn't know what was going to happen there, and now we know that he is coming back to the NHL on a 2-way contract. And he skated in 66 games with his KHL team in 24-25, registering 58 points, 4 penalty minutes, and a plus 31 plus-minus rating. He also played in 19 postseason games, scoring 7 points with 6 goals, 1 assist, and 2 penalty minutes, helping his team reach the Cup final. His 27 goals led all the skaters, and his 58 points were good for second on the team and tied for 6th most in the KHL. So obviously overseas in Russia, this guy was absolutely killing it in a way that he wasn't exactly in the NHL before he went over there, and now is ready to come back to the NHL in full force. The 6'3", 186-pound forward appeared in 64 career NHL games, split between the New York Rangers and the Canucks, recording 12 points with 6 goals and 6 assists and 14 penalty minutes. He also played in 288 career KHL contests, scoring 160 points with 81 goals, 79 assists, and 46 penalty minutes, and a plus 35 plus-minus rating, as well as 79 postseason games, 40 points in them, as well as 25 goals and 15 assists and 21 penalty minutes. So over there, he was performing in a way that he clearly couldn't in the NHL, and now it's just a matter of translating that back over here. He was just absolutely electric in some of the videos that I was watching over from that are available online if you guys want to go and check them out. But this guy is looking to make a big impact coming back over, and this could be something that the Canucks have a just sneaky little golden goose on their hands that a lot of people don't expect, and people who know. That's why Nux Memes have been posting about it for so long, because he saw the potential in this guy, and a lot of fans that are really hyped about this signing are also seeing that as well. There's been a lot of things I've seen on social media where guys are just like, this is the steal that we needed. This is going to be surprising a lot of people in the league. Some people on social media are going, who? There's a bit of a mixed reaction on there as far as who this guy is and what his role is going to be on this team. But he is a native of Vladivostok, Russia. If I slaughtered that, I apologize. But he has represented Russia internationally on multiple occasions, including the 2019 World Junior Hockey Championships, winning bronze. Kravtsov was originally selected by the New York Rangers in the first round at 9th overall in the 2018 NHL draft. And when you look at his stats, you can see that it's almost night and day when he's in the NHL versus over in the KHL. Maybe it's a matter of the competition or just how he can just elevate his game in a certain way over there. He's only 25 years old as well, so he's still on the younger side. But when you look at those last 2 seasons in the KHL, in 55 games putting up 34 points, 58 and 66 games before that, looking at the NHL, wasn't nearly as successful. He does have a lot of playing experience in the NHL though. But even with that first season with New York, he went over the KHL for a little bit and he just absolutely dominated. Came back over, put up a bit of a dud, and then went over to Vancouver, put up a bit of a dud, then went back to the KHL to absolutely dominate. So this is a guy that right off the bat might not be someone that can fit onto this loaded Canucks roster that we have right now, as far as guys that are proven playmakers that have been able to bring in production to the NHL. I know there's been a lot of topic and conversation about guys that didn't do that last year that should have been doing that because of what they're getting paid, but we're not talking about that here. We're talking about how he can fit into this lineup, rotating in as primarily a right winger, but can also play on the left wing. But looking at the right wing, he's not going to replace Boeser. He's not going to outplay Kane. He's not going to outplay Garland. He's not going to replace Sherwood. So we don't really have to worry about anything there. But it's when you look at the AHL forward core, that is where you can kind of see where he can fit in. It's not to say that he won't get opportunities with the big club. It's just a matter of how many of those opportunities he's going to get, and will he get them on the right wing? Probably not. If anything, they're going to try and see how they can utilize him on the left wing, rotating in with Max Sasson or any other guys that they have in there. Might try Lekkermaki on that, who knows? But we have seen them move a lot of guys around. You also have Atu Ratu in there, who's going to get a lot more opportunities. So I could definitely see them rolling with kind of a Kravtsov, Lekkermaki, and Ratu line for some games here and there if there's injuries or guys just need rest. However, I don't see that being something that happens very often. Ratu, he's going to be in there basically full time. I don't expect any changes there. But as far as seeing how much Lekkermaki and Kravtsov are going to get their opportunities, it's not going to be nearly as much unless there is some injuries, and that's something that you never want to see in the NHL, though it does lead to some opportunities for these AHL guys, and we had a lot of those opportunities last year for these guys. We probably have more call-ups than any other team in the league last year, so that does bode well for Kravtsov and him getting opportunities if that's a trend that unfortunately continues. But if fortunately it doesn't continue and we're able to just have a fully healthy roster so that we don't have to navigate the drama of call-ups and recalls and sending guys down and pushing for the playoffs and just stressing out our fans and everybody else in between, that is something that Vancouver will probably try to avoid at the expense of certain progression for players or opportunities for players. But when you look at the roster for the AHL and what Manny Malhotra has to work with en route to trying to repeat a Calder Cup, I think that brings a lot of opportunities there where I think he's going to be a top 6 guy on this AHL team. And I think that it goes without saying that I don't think that's kind of expected when you look at the stats that he's able to put up in minor leagues. He is dominant, especially even in the professional Russian league. He was absolutely dominant. So I have no doubt in my mind that on this AHL roster, him, Jonathan Lekkermaki, Linus Karlsson, Max Sasson when he's on there, Niels Ahmed, Archie Baines, those guys are going to absolutely be leading this forward group as the top guys on there. And I think it's going to be a big showing for Manny Malhotra to try and just say, hey, this team, we're not just going to be a one-off, one-year wonder, first-year fluke kind of team. We're going to try and run it back year in and year out as long as I am there. And I think this is a major move that goes towards that. Is it a massive move as far as what it means for the NHL roster? Not necessarily, because I don't think he's going to get as many opportunities, I don't think any of the AHL guys are going to get as many opportunities as they got last year. You love to see them get more and more opportunities each year so they can make that jump to the big club. But if this Vancouver team can stay healthy, it's not a lot of wiggle room unless you're giving guys rest to not overwork them, where you can make a lot of these AHL guys get as many opportunities as they got last year. When you look at how many AHL guys got opportunities and how many games they played in with those opportunities, there was a lot of them, and I can definitely see that getting cut in half probably with seeing if this Vancouver team can stay healthy. But on the AHL side of things, this is a huge move for the Abbotsford Canucks because they got a guy who is going to be an absolute top 6 guy, could be a top 3 guy, who knows, with the way that he was producing in the KHL. If he can translate that to the AHL, no problem. He'll be a top 3 guy for sure on this Abbotsford team, and one that is going to be leading them to a second straight Calder Cup, and as well as how that goes for Manny Malhotra. This is big for Abbotsford and it's big for Manny as well. It's a new toy to play with, and it's a new player to just mold into an all-star that he wants for when that he does make that jump to eventually be the Vancouver Canucks head coach. Anytime I say that, I'm not wishing bad things to happen to Adam Foote or wishing him not to have success. I hope he has success, and I hope he is a great coach. I just think that with the progression that Manny Malhotra is on, Vancouver will be in a situation where if they don't make the playoffs this year or even next year, or if they get bounced from playoff contention very early this year, Manny Malhotra, you want to make sure is ready for that call whenever they need him, and make sure that he doesn't go to another team and gets a head coaching opportunity. We escaped this first season with him winning a Calder without him going anywhere else and staying here. So that's amazing. We just got to hope that it stays that way throughout the rest of the year. I don't see anything changing until the next round of the hirings happen at the end of next season. But if that's something where Vancouver, it does not make the playoffs next year, you move on from Foote and you promote Manny Malhotra before another team can get him in there, because you cannot let Manny go out the door, especially if they win a second Calder or just even go on a crazy run where they're first place in the AHL and they get to the Western Finals or something like that. Even that is enough to justify moving him up to the big club as the head coach if they can't get it done in the playoffs, especially because you need to keep Quinn Hughes happy, because you want to keep your franchise guy here for a long time, especially with all the extensions that they've been making. But what do you guys think about the extension? What do you guys think about what Patrik Allvin was saying on it? How do you guys think this guy is going to, that Kravtsov is going to fare on the Vancouver system? Do you think he's going to get more than 10 opportunities in the NHL next season? And how do you think he's going to impact this AHL roster? Let us know down in the comments below. But that's going to do it for this episode of Canucks Digest. I've been your host, Griffen. Take care.